Welcome back to the Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic in Dallas, Texas. I'm Andrea Joyce. We're getting ready for the second quarter, and the Seminoles are leading Texas A&M 7-2. Now, let's bring you up to date on some of the other bowls in action. NC State is leading East Carolina in the Peach Bowl by 10 points. In the Hall of Fame Bowl, it's Syracuse over Ohio State at the half. And in the Florida Citrus Bowl, Cal is leading Clemson, that one in the second quarter. Now, let's send you back upstairs to Jim Nance and Terry Bradshaw.
Thank you, Andrea. The second quarter begins with the Aggies facing 2nd and 8 from the Seminoles' 34-yard line.
Second down 8.
McAfee and Simmons remain in the backfield for the Aggies. Looking pass all the way. Richardson sideline route. He connects with Ryan Matthews. That's an A&M first down.
Two ways you're going to look at A&M and how they attacked Errol McCorvey on the outside, number 26, the right corner. If he's to the shallow side, the boundary side, Florida State will not rotate to help him. But if he's to the wide side, then what State will do is rotate their safeties to help him out. They want to protect him, but then on the other side, Terrell Buckley, 27, will always be left alone, man for man.
Carter is in for Simmons, and he's the single back. Short on a wing to the right, and Richardson calls for a timeout. It's the first timeout used by either team in the first half, and we'll take one with them. The Aggies driving, trying to reclaim the lead in the first half of the 56th Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic.
This is really a measuring stick of where we are right now. In Florida State, you know, you have to win games to be recognized like that. Florida State's done that. They deserve that, and you got to beat teams like Florida State to get that kind of recognition. So this is a real good measuring stick of where we are on the national scene and how we match up with a team like Florida State.
Words from Bucky Richardson to a man the Aggies feel that they need to beat Florida State to show the nation that they can compete at college football's highest level. It's a young team. In fact, when you really add up the total starters for the top 25 teams in the nation, A&M has the largest number of freshmen and sophomores in the starting lineup for any ranked team. They have 11 freshmen and sophomores starting today. That's tops. On 1st and 10, here's the toss. Hill back in the game. He fumbles again, and it's recovered by Florida State. Well, the first fumble was really an errant pitch, but this one was right in the hands of the freshman, and Leon Fowler has recovered.
This is the option. This is, once again, speed option to the outside. This is an excellent pitch, but notice there you see John Davis, the strong safety, waiting on him, puts his helmet on the ball. This is an excellent. This fumble was caused by the helmet, not necessarily just the tack. Watch this. Down the line, there's the pitch. Davis up, helmet inside. There it is. Maybe he aimed at it, who knows, but don't forget, Phil's wet ball's got to be a little wet also.
I should also add the other Hill fumble on the opening drive. He has now turned it over 3 times, Terry. From the 25, Florida State. Faking the end around, staying in the pocket. Now coming back over to that side to Kevin Knox. He wasn't even looking up for it.
A gadget. We saw the reverse early. Now we're seeing the gadget pass off of that. You know, you're going to love this. This is something Bobby Bowden loves to do. In motion, here comes the motion. Now you get the fake here, coming around here, fake this guy here, down the field. He'll actually come right over here and stop. Oh, what a mess that is. Look at this, out of the eye. Now fake it to him. There you go. Fool anybody? Nah. Now out in the flat. No good.
Tiger McMillan now in the backfield. Edgar Bennett gets the handoff and maybe lost a yard. He is smothered by Mark Wheeler.
You know, if you go back to that gadget, what was it that Bob Davie, defensive coordinator, said? We went back 5 years on Bobby Bowden and studied his offense. They pick up all his gadgets, and over the 5 years, they found 15 totally different gadgets, and they practiced every one of them.
After watching all those tapes, you sometimes feel the other team's going to try to show Florida State how to run a gadget play. I wouldn't be surprised to see one from the other side today. 3rd down and 10. No gain by Bennett on the last play. Bennett, a good receiver, but no room to run, and he's tackled at the 17 by Mark Wheeler and Marcus Buckley. Watch the speed of this rush. We're going to show you the speed of the wrecking crew.
Ground level. Here they come inside. Let them set them up, turn them loose. Eric England in there first.
Player with some pressure gets it away. Smith lets it roll favorably for Florida State. This will measure out as a big one for Scott Player. 57 yards on the punt. Let's check the backfield. They have put McAfee back in. Hill has to be shaken with the turnovers in the first half, so they're going with the backup, McAfee, a senior. And he carries the ball with a face mask, I believe. Reach it in there from Florida State. Dan Footman grabbed the face guard, I believe, Terry.
A face mask violation called against Florida State.
So it's an all-senior backfield at the moment for A&M. Remember the one game the Aggies lost this year against Tulsa. They had to start an all-freshman backfield. Richardson missed that one game, the one that the Aggies lost this year. He was out with an injury.
Yeah, but their quarterback, Jeff Granger, he came in and threw for almost 300 and something yards and 4 touchdowns with an all-freshman backfield. Got upset by Tulsa. A lot of people say it was an upset, Jim, but if you recall at the time, Tulsa was a nationally ranked team. I believe they were ranked number 12.
Tulsa winning the Freedom Bowl this week. 1st down and 3. Don't hear that very often. Simmons sideswiped at the 35-yard line. He's a yard short of the first.
Derek Brooks. There's a true freshman.
One of the top-rated, maybe by some, the top-rated defensive prep player in the country.
You're
last year.
exactly right. He was number 10. I mean, I can't see him here. He's either one. I mean, I think that's there. Good job, Bradshaw. There you are. Coming inside. This kid was the number 1 sought-after defensive prospect last year. He's a true freshman.
They also got the top prep offensive player, Marquette Smith, 3rd-team running back today. McAfee spinning for the 1st down. It was 2nd and less than a yard. However, a flag on the field. There's a look at Brooks. Third time today, Florida State has been drawn off.
You know, I want to go back to this Brooks kid again, because if I recall, Jim, he was a safety coming out of high school. He's only 6'2", I don't know, 210, 2'5". But now they've moved him to linebacker because he's so much like Kurt Carruthers, who's only about 210, you know, about the same size.
Look at all the pulling and tugging, Terry, on the jersey of McAfee, trying to prevent him from getting the first. But the offside penalty moves the football near the 40. Rolling out and almost intercepted. Chris Coryatt had a chance at it. Go ahead, Jim.
Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator for the Seminoles, is using some new hand signals today. He thinks it's been very effective. He wants his defensive unit to be very vocal out on the field. Feels that it's confusing Richardson, and they're not able to steal the old signals because they've changed them all today. Jim?
All right, Jim.
How do you figure them out anyway? You seen those guys give those signals? I mean, they're grabbing ears and hats and feet. I didn't figure that mess out.
All kinds of body parts. 2nd down and 10. And Richardson wanting to cut back with it, and he gains about 5. It's interesting, they've been shuttling Marvin Jones in and out of that lineup defensively for Florida State. And Jones is on the field at the moment. Now he's coming out.
3rd down, 5.
See what the winningest quarterback in Texas A&M history, Bucky Richardson, can handle here on 3rd and 6. Decides to throw for it, and Buckley almost added to his interception total. Terrell Buckley had 12 interceptions on the season. Won the Thorpe Award as the outstanding defensive back in college football. Watch this one, Terry.
Yeah, when we talked to Richardson, he said we wouldn't shy down from Buckley, but sometimes it's wise. He noticed that the receiver looks or appears to be wide open. There's Williams, and there's Buckley coming off the slot. I really wonder why they would run that into the short side. It seemed like you'd have a better chance running it out to the wide side. More room for Buckley to have to cover.
Richardson 2 out of 9 passing in the first half. Here's David Davis with no heat as it headed to the far sidelines, out of bounds inside the 30. 10:42 remaining in the 2nd quarter. 1 touchdown so far. That a 4-yard run by Casey Weldon. Well, since 1937, people have been coming to this grand old stadium on New Year's Day when a Texas oil man, J. Curtis Sanford, wanted to bring a major college football postseason game to Dallas. And today, the 56th annual Cotton Bowl Classic taking place, Texas A&M and Florida State. Damp conditions for an area of the country that certainly doesn't need any more rain. Severe flooding problems by the nearby Trinity River. Jim Nantz along with Terry Bradshaw. Jim Gray on the sidelines, and coming to the line of scrimmage, Florida State from its 27. Sean Jackson. Look at him break through all the Aggies out to the 39, maybe the 38. An 11-yard run for Jackson, who runs with a lot of emotion. Those were the words of his running mate, Edgar Bennett. What does that mean, Terry?
I don't know. I had a hard time understanding it when he told. I just assumed that his nature is a quiet one, and that when he has the football, he turns into something that they're not quite used to. Aggressive runner, big kid. Bobby Bowden wants to see what he can do. You'll have him back next year.
Reminded Edgar Bennett, Sean Jackson did, of Sammy Smith, a former Seminole star. 1st and 10, they stick it in the belly of Jackson again, and look at him get to the outside into A&M territory near the 40. Broke away from Sam Adams and Quentin Coryatt to pick up 20. Let's get a report now. Jim Gray, come in.
Sean Jackson is an interesting story. You know, he's filling in for Amp Lee. But the interesting thing about it is before the BYU game this year, he met Jim Brown, and Jim Brown autographed his shoes, and he has not taken those shoes off in the game yet. They've kind of gotten a little washed out, but the autograph is still on the shoes. He's hoping some of it rubs off. Jim Nantz.
5 carries, 39 yards for Sean Jackson. 1st and 10, they stay with the hot running back. Shakes off 2 defenders. And picks up nice yardage on a play that should have gone nowhere. Broke away this time from Jason Atkinson.
You know, one of the things I'm surprised at is that Jackson's going outside, because when we talked to Bobby Bowden, he said, unlike Amp Lee, when we take him wide on these sweeps, Lee actually goes on the sweeps, but when we give it to Jackson, he historically has always cut it back up inside the tackle. So he's called him Downhill Jackson. That's kind of a nickname Bobby had for him. But we're seeing today excellent sweep running by Jackson.
Well, the umbrellas are out, Terry. Starting to drizzle. And they're going to add 9 seconds to the game clock. We have 9:51 remaining in the second quarter. Florida State 7, Texas A&M 2. Sean Jackson first got hot on the idea of going to Florida State at the Sugar Bowl 3 years ago. He was in the stands. He's a New Orleans kid, and he liked Deion Sanders and company when they were playing in that game against Auburn, and he decided to go there. Former high school quarterback, running it with the football again on 2nd and 4 and fighting near the first. Impressive drive here for Sean Jackson.
This is that under ball handling that Bobby Bowden wanted me to explain to him. Notice how the ball is held in front. But look inside is Jackson. There's the head-on shot right there. Now he keeps piling, keeps driving, and Bowden said, hey, it's a chance for this kid to showcase his talents. Maybe I can find out what I've got, you know, waiting on me next year. But if Lee comes back and this kid keeps running hard, who knows?
Jackson averaged over 6 yards a carry on the season. He's picked up 40 yards on this drive alone. Lined up in the eye. He's the tailback. 3rd and less than a yard. Good fake by Weldon. Looking downfield, and Fryer got mixed up. 2 Aggies on the coverage, including Kevin Smith. Patrick Bates the other.
This is an excellent call. Notice everyone's in tight. But the problem, once again, watch this. Open up. Fake it. Excellent ball handling by Weldon. 1 receiver down the field with 2 men covering him. You got to have somebody to be an escape valve, someone to help you out in case you're in trouble.
The wizardry of Weldon. What ball handling skills he shows. 4th and less than a yard. They're going for it from the 32. And again, it's Weldon. Beautiful ball fake and a first down, Florida State.
Casey Weldon on the key. Gerry on the first down.
You run bootlegs. I mean, everyone knows this, but you run bootlegs on people that are overly aggressive to the outside. You're going to see, look, coming through the one cornerback. There's Buckley down inside. No one left to the outside. The support that time belonged to Buckley, number 9. He went in after the play fake, got lost.
First down from the A&M 27. Shannon Baker to the right. Oh, a fumble. Buckley was there, had the first crack at it, then followed up by Teichelman of A&M and a recovery for the Aggies.
Well, if you're looking at turnovers, the first thing that pops in my mind, Jim, is the fact that we've seen 3 tosses that have landed on the ground. So what does that tell you? Stop the pitch. Simple toss. There it is, right in the hands. But evidently Jackson was looking where he was going to run with it and took his eyes off the ball.
Lance Teichelman, 58, recovers for A&M. He has a brother who goes to Rice and was named the academic athlete football player of the year in the Southwest Conference. Teichelman gets it back for A&M from the 31. It's Greg Hill. And the freshman for about 6. How slippery is the football right now? I mean, is it the weather that's causing all these rash of fumbles?
The football to throw the ball right now is really good because it gets kind of sticky, and you put a little more of your hand on it, so you don't really have a problem throwing the football. The problem you're having is you get the laces, you get a little water on them. These kids have gloves. You get water on the gloves. Leather on leather, it becomes extremely slippery.
2nd down and 5. Hill with a hard run out to the 40, about a yard short. Cheney chopped him up for Florida State.
You know, they put a lot of pressure on their guards. Harrison and Ellisor, the right guard. you're looking at him 51. And the really, if you had to wonder why the Aggies weren't able to run inside, look at this. Harrison, a left guard, has a broken right wrist, and Ellisor, the right guard, well, he has a broken left wrist, and when this game is over with, they're both going into the hospital to be operated on.
3rd and less than a yard. 2 tight ends in the game. The fullback lined up on a wing as well, trying to lead the block for Hill, and he is stuffed. Leon Fowler coming up to stop the Aggies from moving the chains.
If you're going to run wide, if you're committed to the run, look at the shift. Notice all the people. There goes your shift. That's the set to front. Now, all Florida State does is just balance it up and just shift everyone back. That fools no one. If you'd gone in motion, yeah, you know, maybe a little bit. But now they're getting wide. There's your wing set, and all they're trying to do is block down inside and let Hill go to the outside. It looked a little complicated, but it really was kind of simple, Jim. I mean,
Netted.
It netted
no
what?
yardage.
Nada, huh?
Nada. And A&M is nada on 3rd down. They're 0 for 5 on the conversion chart. Look out for Terrell Buckley. He did not break one this year for a touchdown on punts. He had several the year before. Actually, in the opener this year, he had one called back. He's dangerous. Davis booms one. Buckley will have a chance to run it. And he is tripped at the 30. 41-yard punt, 11-yard run back. 6:20 remaining. 2nd quarter. Strange score of 7-2. 30 years ago today, in the 1962 Cotton Bowl Classic, Vice President Lyndon Johnson was in attendance to see Texas take on Mississippi. The Longhorns jumped out to a 12-0 lead at halftime on this Mike Cotton to Jack Collins touchdown pass. The Texas defense dug in and held on as the Longhorns went on to win 12-7 for Coach Darrell Royal. CBS Sports is pleased to be bringing you this New Year's Day Classic for the 35th straight year. All the fine folks down here we love being associated with. Jim Hoss-Brock, the executive director. Field Scoville, Mr. Cotton Bowl, and this year's president, John Stewart.
How you like how you like Hoss's tie? Isn't that a dandy?
Hoss is wearing the green jacket. I didn't think you could get out of Augusta with one of those things. Supposed to leave him in the locker room. From the 31, Florida State. There's the toss again, Terry. Look out for the pass. Nope. Just juking is Jackson and getting back to the line of scrimmage. I thought for a minute there I was wise to it.
You were wise to Bobby Bowden because you know what he's got up his sleeve. This kid Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he a quarterback in high school?
Yes, he was.
And recruited. Well, if you can establish a few sweeps with him, then naturally everyone has to come up and support. And when they do that, you got to think Bobby Bowden's got a pass wrong with it.
Bob Davey, the defensive coordinator for the Aggies, said they're wise to it. They know that Jackson was a high school quarterback. They're looking out for the option today. 2nd down and 10. Pump fake by Weldon. Now coming to the other side. And Teichelman wraps him up again near the line of scrimmage.
Casey Weldon, unable to pass away. Hit by number 58, Fowler.
You notice look at this zone. This is like a little V. Notice this, everybody down. This is Fryer. He's actually going to come down and come across, but Casey coming out trying to hit to the outside. No one there. Dodges support. There's outside. There's the inside. Scrambling, waiting. No one open. Good coverage.
Good drawing. You're getting better at that.
No, it wasn't good drawing. I had the wrong guy in the flat.
Shouldn't have told me. 3rd down and 9. And Weldon going to get picked. Oh, interception by Chris Cromes. He may take it. Touchdown, Texas A&M on the run back. One official is waving back at the 26-yard line, trying to get everyone's attention. They're going to say he was out of bounds back at the 26. Oh. So, Weldon intercepted for the 2nd time in the opening half. This one you could see it coming, Terry.
Yeah, You know, Casey sets up his feet slip. He went inside. His man was covered, went to the outside. And as you can see by the way the ball fluttered, the ball slipped out of his hand. Tried to go down the middle. Crooms sitting there waiting for it. Caught a ball that just absolutely slipped out of his hand. Notice his left foot. Look at Crooms' left foot.
No question about it. Good call. Each team now with 3 turnovers, and A&M within striking distance. Leading Hill too much out of the backfield. Weldon was downfield after the interception trying to make a tackle. Watch him, Terry.
This is good. I like this. Now, as he gets older, you don't want to do this. Go ahead and let him score. But that's a good effort. Worst hit I ever had in my life. I got chewed out for not running down a guy that intercepted one of my passes by Coach Knoll. So I threw another one, you know, to prove a point. And then I realized I better get after this guy. I got down there, got blindsided like you wouldn't believe. Forget it. Let him score.
2nd down and 10. Two-step drop. Firing it to Mitchell. Terrell Buckley runs him back.
Good throw. Now, you know, a lot of scouts have talked about Bucky Richardson. They say the 4th rounder, maybe, you know, a 5th rounder in an NFL draft, and some maybe question his arm. But I've watched him warm up, and I just saw a pass in the flat there, and that was a bullet. And you have to understand, this young man has developed his passing. People need to understand the last 5 games of this season alone, he averaged over 200 yards passing per game. So that's, you know, that's pretty good stuff.
3rd down and 7. Richardson 3 out of 11 throwing.
Blitz.
Looking all the way toward the end zone, and he is intercepted by Buckley.
Smart.
Terrell Buckley averaging 1 interception a game. He's amazing, isn't he, Terry?
Well, I'm going to tell you what Buckley did. Buckley had a man-for-man out on the sideline, and he stayed with his man, but he was peeking inside at Richardson. And then when Richardson thought he had that guy covered, he went to the corner. Buckley pulled off with great speed, made the interception.
7 turnovers in the first half, 4 by A&M. Buckley had 12 picks in the regular season, and now adding here in the postseason classic.
Another opportunity. A&M just really, you can't let this happen against a great football team. That's what these Seminoles are.
So on the touchback from the 20, Sean Jackson racing out to the 25. You know, we talked to Terrell Buckley about that remarkable interception number for the year. Here's what he said.
We correct our mistakes. And a lot of people just say, well, he's not going to correct their mistake. He's cocky, conceited, doesn't work hard. And they try the same thing. And they fail.
They failed this time as Buckley read it all the way and intercepts in the end zone. 2nd down, 5, Florida State. Rain coming down a little harder now. And McCorvey, he loses the football. And was the Aggie defender inbounds? No, his feet were out. That was Patrick Bates sliding for the recovery, but it'll remain Florida State football. Part of his body was out of bounds. Kes McCorvey.
There's the ball knocked loose. You know, okay, now you're going to see no possession, ball out of bounds.
They return the football to the spot of the fumble, the 37, Terry.
You know what I do, Jim? I loved it when it rained because I knew my guys knew where we were going. And if you're playing man for man, you've got to just freeze and react a little bit later. If you're playing in zones, you have to freeze and react a little bit later. And that gives a passing offense the advantage. The advantage today, right now in this bad weather, should be with this Florida State offense.
And breaking away from Wheeler. Jackson high-stepping it to the outside. And tackled at the 45 of A&M. 18 yards on that carry for Jackson. He now has 11 rushes for 67 yards. Dark skies in Dallas.
Now you look at Jackson, he's in for Amp Lee, but if you turn it around and look on the other side, Greg Hill, he actually was beaten out by Rodney Thomas. Thomas got hurt. Hill got the chance against LSU, rushed for 200 yards, never gave the job up. Or maybe you're seeing that today with Sean Jackson. His chance to perform, and he's doing an outstanding job.
Tiger McMillan has come in on this play at tailback. 1st and 10, they fake the McMillan. Slipping for a moment, Weldon throws. Incomplete. It was Shannon Baker on the near side.
A lot of room to cover, isn't it, Jim? Wide side in college football. I have forgotten that there's a wide side in pro football. The hashers are in the middle, and it's equal right and left. But in college, if you throw a sideline from the short hash mark and throw it all the way across, it's about
a 40-yard pass.
40-yard
Got to have
pass.
a gun to get it over there. Which was never a problem for you.
God bless you, Jim. I appreciate it. I needed that.
2nd down, 10. Wanted to go screen right, and look out.
Oh, great job.
Marcus Buckley.
Great job by Atkinson. Everyone will give Buckley the credit, number 9, but I want you to watch this man as he pursues and gets in and follows the screen. This forces Weldon to come off the screen, allowing Buckley to come inside and make the sack. Watch this. Watch 43, Atkinson. Picks it up. Now, look at him. Picks it up. He runs with it. Now, look at Weldon. He says, hey, man, I'm dead. Too late. Buckley gets him.
Well, Terrell Buckley on the other side with the interception to give Florida State possession, and then Marcus Buckley backs him up 15. So it's 3rd and 25. Counter.
Tiger
with
McMillan.
And they swing him down short of the first. He got about 10 of it back.
When you have two great programs and you recruit on a national scale, well, you said earlier A&M primarily in the state of Texas, but Florida State all over the country, you take one back out and you say, well, this might hurt them. But here comes McMillan, 33, in he comes, and then you see, you know, the results of winning, being in the top 5, the top 10, the last 5 or 6 years. Bobby Bowden can recruit nationally now because kids want to come knowing they have an opportunity to play for a national championship.
Said McMillan with 10 yards on the run. He actually got 15 of it back, but it's 4th and 10. And Florida State taking a delay penalty by design to back him up, give Scott Player a little more room.
Delay game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 1 time.
Near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the general scholarship fund of each school.
You know, in the 290 hours I spent in getting ready for this game, I didn't realize there wasn't a 2-minute in college.
2-minute warning?
Yeah,
No.
Thank goodness you guys told me this morning.
1 minute to go in the first half. A&M with no one deep. They were looking for a block, and boy, it's going to back them up and maybe cost them here right before the half.
Well, Jim, I don't know about that. He picked the football up instead of downing it and ran into the end zone. That ball.
Well, they're going to spot it at the 1. Steve Gilmer and Lonnie Johnson were down there.
I can't. Who picks this thing up?
I think it's Lonnie Johnson.
All right, he comes. All right, isn't he in the line?
Well, I guess we're going to say that he touched it first at the 1.
But
now remember, Florida State has all 3 timeouts remaining before the half, so defensively they can make a stand here.
So you can run into the end zone like this, and they give you the ball back where it stops. Is that how this works?
It's the point where he first touched it. $50 seconds to go, and quarterback keeper for Richardson. And there's the quick call for the timeout by Florida State. Let's check in with Jim Gray in these wet conditions. Jim?
All right, Jim, thank you. Right now, the field is not too slick, but it is raining pretty hard right now. Terry was talking just a few moments ago how Florida State might have the advantage here in the rain. Well, they also have the experience. This will be the third time that they have played in the rain. Louisville and LSU, the other two. Texas Tech on the other side. This is the first game where they've had any wetness. Texas A&M, excuse me, where they've any wetness at all. So while I get a little drier, let's go back upstairs.
Well, in that game against LSU, it was a game played in Baton Rouge, and Florida State had a real scare. Ranked #1 at that time, trailing most of the way, and that's the game where Casey Weldon got banged up, and 3 other starters. Weldon missing the next start, but they prevailed in the end, 27-16. Only the second time that Bobby Bowden has put his team on the artificial surface this year. One other game on the turf was that rain game at Louisville.
Hard to put a spear in this stuff, isn't it? You know, going
when
back
they
to
run
that,
out at the start of the game.
Yeah, on it. That punt, when they touch it in college football, if the ball is on the ground and you touch it, then it's down where you touch it. Even if you pick it up and carry it in. So for those of you that were as confused as I was, there's the answer.
2 timeouts left for the Noles. 2nd and 9, A&M. Doug Carter gives him some room out to the 8.
And on home play going to number 32.
Doug Carter has been playing with a nagging ankle sprain all season, but ran hard on that one, breaking a couple of tackles. Again, a timeout burned by Bowden. 34 seconds to go in the half. Now, Saturday afternoon, the Falcons and the Redskins. Vern Lundquist and Dan Fouts will call it for you. The NFL today. Terry and Greg and Leslie and Pat O'Brien. Then on Sunday, our crew switches over to the Cowboys and Lions. Pat Summerall and John Madden on hand. How will Barry Sanders perform in the playoff? Who's that guy on the left anyway?
Yeah, he looks pretty good, doesn't he?
If you're looking off camera.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ought to be interesting this weekend. That Falcon Redskins rematch has certainly got captured my attention, and I'm interested to see how Deion Sanders and McKyer go up against the posse, and whether or not they come back and throw for 6 touchdown passes, which I believe Ripon did the last time these two teams met. Then you run over to Detroit, and you got to look at 2 great running backs, Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders. Great weekend of NFL on CBS.
3rd and 3. Greg Hill stacked for a 2-yard loss. Hit first by Joe Ostazuski. One of the Ostazuski twins making the play. And there's the final timeout, forcing the Aggies on 4th down to punt out of the end zone.
A final score from the Peach Bowl.
This is the 4th trip to Dallas in the last 7 seasons for Texas A&M. Jackie Sherrill had brought them here for the 86, 87, and 88 classics. Last performing here with a big win over Lou Holtz, Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner, 35-10 in the 88 game. But since that time, 4 titles in the conference, 4 trips to Dallas.
Big game. As we heard earlier from Bucky Richardson, this game means more to Texas A&M than it does to Florida State, because Texas A&M wants to gain national recognition as a powerhouse, and also R.C. Slocum said this will enhance our recruiting.
A doing play, David Davis in punt formation. Buckley is the deep man for the Seminoles.
A&M had the football for only 24 seconds with the 3 timeouts used by Florida State. No one back deep for the Seminoles. They're coming in looking for the block. Now at the last minute, Terrell Buckley comes onto the field from the sideline. So they do have a deep man.
Here's your rush. All-out rush, Jim.
Buckley, momentum takes him out of bounds near the 40. What was the logic behind that, showing up at the last minute as a returner?
Well, I think what he wanted to do was just convince him no one was back there, so it would ease his mind a little bit. But You know, if you notice that ball was kicked to the left, you'll never see a right-footed kicker in bad weather ever attempt to kick the ball down the middle or to the right for fear of shanking it and knocking it out of bounds. He will always attempt to go to his left there. If he shanks it, then it goes down the middle of the football field.
18 seconds to go. Florida State without any timeouts.
Probably looking to get in a position for a field goal.
Looking for the sidelines, and that's no gain at all for Weldon.
Well, there goes that theory. I don't think.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I believe you could tell me about as well as I could tell you. It seems strange that you would call all the timeouts to get the ball back and then take the quarterback and sprint him out of bounds, unless there was obviously a mistake. I mean, that's about the best way I can figure. Let's see what happens here.
It only used 4 seconds. That's the good news. 14 seconds to go in the half. Across the middle and intercepted by Bates. Tip first off the fingertips of Lonnie Johnson, and Patrick Bates has another interception for the Aggies.
Out of bounds, and the Aggies will have first down 10.
3 times Weldon has thrown an interception here in the first half. 4 turnovers for Florida State, 4 for A&M. The game is sloppy as the weather.
They're turning it over by the nature of their offenses. A&M 3 fumbles by just fumbling the football. Florida State by passing, 3 interceptions. Notice over the middle, Weldon sees his man, but number 92, Eric England, gets his big paw up and knocks it down right into the hands of Patrick Bates.
Actually ricocheted off the fingertips of England, and then Johnson, and into the hands of Bates. And a running play to close out the half to Doug Carter. 1 score for each team. Coryatt landing Weldon in the end zone for a safety for the Aggies, 2. And then Casey Weldon on the keeper from 4 yards out for the Seminoles score. So the halftime score, Florida State 7, Texas A&M 2. CBS Sports coverage of the Mobile Cotton Bowl Classic will continue after this message and a word from your local station.